Kauai, mahalo nui loa, and thank you for joining us this week in yet another exciting and informative episode of wal17. As we speak, something is happening in conjunction, of course, with our signature event, the Koloa Plantation Day celebration. Now, remember, the parade is going to be happening this coming Saturday. We'll have an opportunity to speak to Phyllis Kunimura and Melissa McFerrin, and of course, our very dear friend, the parade coordinator, Arrow Kaneshiro. But first, the Salvation Army is on this island, in this island of Kauai, for the past 120 years. They got a fundraiser happening on Friday, August 11 at the Kauai Marriott Resort and Beach Club. What's this fundraiser all about, you ask? Well, here's our co-chairs, none other than Sonia Topeño and Joyce Medina.
Well, this event is our 120th anniversary on the island of Kauai, so we're very excited to be helping our community of Kauai. And we've been here 120 years.
You know, that's very interesting. And first of all, I would like to say aloha because your very dear friend whom you dragged in is Joyce Medina. So the local community can say, wow, how cool is that? Bank of Hawaii, First Hawaiian Bank, neighbors, but first and foremost, best friends.
All for
That's
good
correct.
causes.
And this is our first annual fundraising, so please come out and help us.
Now, interestingly, Sonia mentioned 120 years in and on this island of Kauai itself.
Yes.
What makes the Salvation Army so special? We hear about it, but it's, you know, sometimes we think, oh, Iniki or Eva and what have you, but this is not really all about just disasters.
No, this isn't all about just disasters. This is just about helping the community. If you need help, come here. They won't turn anyone away. So if you need clothing, if you need just something to help you for your first interview, they'll help you out with that. They have a soup kitchen, Thanksgiving, just bell ringing, Christmas, everything.
We also have for the kapunas outdoor activities for them, as well as an after-school program for some of the kids, and we take them to camps. So those are just some of the activities that we do on a day-to-day basis.
Now, we had an opportunity to catch up with a recent meeting with the board of directors. We have a lot of well-known community members here. First of all, Joyce, what drives you to be a part of this, this not-for-profit, and why is it important for you to bring this message out to Kauai?
Actually, 3 years ago, or was it 4 years, I was at a Thanksgiving luncheon and Sonia asked me to join. I was thinking, what do I know about the Salvation Army? But I came and I've been here, and it's just a good feeling to come here and help.
Well, we've been very blessed. We get a lot of support from the Kauai United Way, the Hawaii Tourism Association, as well as our thrift store. So please help us purchase items from our thrift store. We have it in Hanapepe as well as in Lihue.
You guys are doing something not necessarily really out of the box and ambitious, but you're doing something very cool. Kauai Marriott Resort and Beach Club, Grand Ballroom, outskirts, Kamala'o, Kalapaki, 5 to 8:30. Paint the picture as what we can expect as far as that evening is concerned.
Well, this is all kudos to Chef Guy Higa, who's also a member of the American Culinary Federation, Kauai chapter, and he had this idea of putting together several chefs on the island and helping us out. And he said, why don't we do it outdoor and see how we can take this off? So without Chef Guy, we wouldn't be as, thought about it. But with his attention and his support, as well as the ACF Kauai chapter, we're going to move forward with this event. So we're really excited with all the chefs that are participating.
Okay, now you mentioned the chefs. I mentioned 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I like that. Very nice. Long enough, short enough, bada bing, bada bang. So I come through the turnstiles. I'm there at Kamala'o, Kalapaki. She mentioned the chefs. Anything else happening?
Well, we have a silent auction, and we have a mystery box, and angel tree. So everything that the Salvation Army does or need will be on the angel tree, so the whole community can come out and support.
Okay, so describe to the viewing audience, because I don't know, what is an angel tree?
Angel tree is something that the Salvation Army, I guess the needs for the Salvation Army, like maybe a rice pot, or camping, backpacks for the kids, just something small that if everybody comes and help, they can make their goal and get the items for their projects.
And I think what's very important for the viewing audience to make mention, when we say something small like a backpack or a rice pot, I would tell most people, if those that are needy needs a rice pot or a backpack, these are essentials. They're not out there for their wants. They're really there, and you guys provide the actual needs.
Yeah, basically, Dickie, we also have like if somebody wanted to just get a basket of foods and it costs $13, we want you to buy a basket for somebody in need. So just little things that we can do to help our island community.
You know, I also do want to make mention, outside of this, this, for the lack of a better word, this gala extravaganza that you're going to be having outdoors, which is really cool. Nice gardens, nice flowers, nice scenery, nice setting. But I do want to let the viewing audience know it's pretty much a star-studded lineup, because you got recent multi-Nohoku Hano Award winner Blaina Singh, up-and-coming most promising young artist. But you also have a legend and an icon, Brother Nolan. But I understand the multi-talented Ben Vegas, and of course, Kauai's very own, the lovely, talented Mila Gibson. That is two star-studded duels that's going to be really a part of the whole experience and the ambiance of making this a successful event.
Yes, so come on out and join us and enjoy this first event that the Salvation Army does.
And you two, the both of you folks are the co-chairs, and I want to thank you folks, because I saw the flyer. The both of you have your names on the flyers and your cell phone numbers, which a lot of people don't like to. But I guess I would like to say kudos, because as the co-chairs, how else is everybody else going to get a hold of you folks? So with that being said, so tell us, what's the number we get a hold of you?
My number is, get the flyer, and you can call me up now. 634-6452-808.
Okay, repeat that number again.
808-634-6452.
Sonia?
808-652-2499 or at Sonia, Sonia, Topenio, Topenio, at BOH.com.
Now, do you folks know offhand what the generic order online, is there a order online kind of a website?
Our website is salar, SALAR.my/Kauai120, and it'll get you to the site so that you can purchase your ticket or buy a table or donate to our silent auction.
Come on out and help Salvation Army celebrate the 120 years on Kauai, doing the best for Kauai. We got some great chefs, we have some beautiful entertainment, and we expect a lot of people. So please come on out and see your friends and feel good about doing this.
Yeah, please come on down and help us celebrate. 120 years is a lot for even a nonprofit. So we're very thankful for the things that they're doing for our community. So, valao.
But okay, before we vala out, we're gonna all do the vala out together. But hold on, don't try to cut us short over here. Don't try to cut us short. But hold on for a second. Hold on for 1 second. Okay, but what I wanted to say, and by the way, we're still on. Being that it's an Aloha Friday, are we recommending people as soon as they pahana? I mean, this should be a Aloha attire kind of a.
Just come as you are. Just come as you are. Come after work. Get off work earlier. Come on down and just enjoy yourself.
But remember, we gotta qualify. Come as you are, but you gotta say you cannot just come. You need to get one ticket, right?
Yeah, visit our website, or you can see any of us or the advisory board. We do have individual tickets. It is $120, and you'll get some really great featured chefs, Guy Higa and Johnny Montemeyer from the Kauai Marriott Resort, Ron Miller from the Hukilaulana'i, Steve Nakata and the Kauai Community College Culinary Club, Gavin Onishi from Contemporary Flavors,
Thailand Peng, our good friend Thailand Peng, coming all the way down from Maui, Fairmont, Kealani, Jason Session from the Westin Princeville, Ben Takahashi from the club at Kukiola, and Michael Young at Sheraton Kauai. That's a real terrific lineup.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, once again, we got Blaina Singh, we got Brother Nolan, we got Ben Vegas, we got Mila Gibson. Seems like we got everything.
And they can put on a good spread.
And food and spread and everything else. I mean, and again, a great cause.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't forget now, August 11th, tickets are available. Call Joyce, call Sonia, head to the website, 8:30 p.m., spread the coconut wireless. Let everybody know we're helping out 120 years here on our beautiful Garden Island, Kauai. We'll have to take a short break, but don't go away. Vala'au, we'll be right back. Now's the time.
Valao!
Thank you once again to our co-coordinators, Sonia Topenio and Joyce Fadina. We're going to take a short break, but don't forget now, fundraiser for our Salvation Army, 120 years here on our Garden Island, Kauai, doing great work for the people and the visitors of our Garden Island, Kauai. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll be speaking with Phyllis Kunimura and, of course, Melissa McFerrin, and tell you all about the Koloa Plantation Day celebration.
Healthier is quality care close to home. Healthier is state-of-the-art facilities and the largest and best team of doctors on Kauai. It's specialty care and caring in a special way. Healthier is Kauai's only comprehensive bone and joint center with expertise in joint replacement, hands, feet, ankles, and sports medicine. Wilcox Health, creating a healthier Hawaii.
Captain Andy's sailing. Nobody has more fun. Captain Andy's, the ultimate sailing adventure.
Welcome back, Kauai. Let's head on over to beautiful downtown Koloa. How did the Koloa Plantation Day celebration happen oh so very long ago? 32 years, you ask? Here's a little history from our very dear friend, Auntie Phyllis Kunimura, and of course, Melissa McFerrin.
Okay, it means a lot of history. It means when we go back to the sesquicentennial, which was the very first Koloa Plantation Day celebration way back in 1985, it was a one-day celebration of 150 years of sugar in the state of Hawaii, and it was put on by the Sugar Planters Association. So it had cane cutting, and it had the monument was dedicated, and we did a big luau up under the trees by the post office that was catered by Suyoka Store. And people were sitting around, enjoying the luau and saying, gosh, this is fun. We should do this more often. And people started talking about the history of Koloa, and how many things had happened here, and the dock, and all of the things that Koloa is known for. And at that time we had the Captain Cook Days in Waimea, and we had something in Kapa'a, and so we thought, gee, why not continue this in Koloa? So then for another year, Tony was mayor at that time, so then he got together with the same people that put on the sesquicentennial, the Sugar Planters Association group, and asked if they would do it a second time. And they did. And so we had Koloa Plantation Day celebration again in July the following year. So now on the third year, which would have been 1987, nothing happened. So they didn't want to continue it, and so then Bob Watts called me and he said, Phyllis, why don't we try to make this happen again? And so Bob and I sent out letters to many community people, put it in the newspaper, come on out. And we had a meeting at the multipurpose room at the library here in Koloa of people that were interested in making Koloa Plantation Days happen again. And we had a great turnout. People were really interested in doing that. And we came to the discussion that we should enlarge it, have it up at the park where a lot more people could come. The parade would still be part of it. And so people had so many exciting ideas. And then getting visitor industry involved and everything. And so at that point, one of the main concerns was, well, if we do it up at the park, what if there's an accident? What do we do for coverage, or how are we going to be covered? Say I'm on the board or something and something happens, will I get sued for it? So at that point we realized that we need to become incorporated. So then Bob Watts and myself, we worked with local lawyers who did pro bono work, and we became incorporated. So now it is Koloa Plantation Days Incorporated. And so I've been president of Koloa Plantation Incorporated. This is the 30th year of that. But overall, we have a board, and then we have a committee, and then you have all the events with that. Most of the board people are also on the committee, but that's how it is governed and passed on.
I have a couple of comments. First of all, I would like to say, when you mentioned Tony, we are talking about your late husband, the Honorable Mayor Tony T. Kunimura itself. That's number one. Number two, the first thing I think is that it's too bad that we can only do this once a year, because this conversation could go on and on and on about all the history and all the people and all the great memories. But more importantly, I can hear your voice, the passion, but you remember that passion in 85, 32 years later. That is insane. The very famous picture that we always talk about is when Governor George Ariyoshi joined yourself, Mayor Kunimura, and we also had two kids that we always used to try to identify those
Ramos,
kids.
I know they were Ramos children.
And hopefully they're still alive because they're celebrities.
Yeah.
But your dear friend back in 85 and more recently in 2009 for the 50th anniversary of statehood, the Grand Marshals, Gene and George Ariyoshi, George, the governor, kept saying, Phyllis, make this happen, make this happen, don't stop this,
That's
don't
right.
stop this.
That's exactly what he said. Don't stop this, because it is so hometown. It's not commercial. It's what Koloa's about. It's what Kauai is about. And for the people living in Koloa, I always think it's important that we give back pride. We do things to help people be proud of their community, proud of Kauai, to get our young people back here again. This is their roots. So come back, share this with your stories with your grandparents, pass on your history. That's who we are. And more we're getting away from who we really are. We're getting so spread out.
Very well said. And when you mentioned spread out, now we're talking about a one-day event, couple-hour event, and what have you. We are here, of course, with Melissa McFerrin, because this whole entire week, pre and post, could not happen without a coordinator, and we got to give our aloha out to Melissa McFerrin. What an incredible bang-up coordination job.
Yes. And this is what happened. As the Koloa Plantation Days started becoming more than a one-day and a two-day, we did need to go out and have a coordinator, because I couldn't do it all, and our committee couldn't do it all. And so then it's continued to grow, and we have had Melissa for, I think, 10 years now with us. And so it's made a huge difference, have somebody to be so committed to it and to understand the importance of, this is not just an event, it's history. And you want to continue to educate people and bring in that part of it. So it's the education of the past and the plantation.
I think along the lines of what Phyllis is saying, that one of the things that I think makes it really special is that there's a committed core from the residents of the community and the businesses in the community to really share something special about who we are as a community and what makes us unique. This year's theme is Many Cultures, One Community, because all of the different experiences that visitors have and also the memories that people have, all the different foods, all the different music, what makes us so unique in the world came from the different cultures that not only our host cultures, but also the different groups that came over associated with the sugar plantations and part of our local history. So, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese. Last year there was a German fellow who wrote an article in German about the German community here. Filipino, all of Puerto Rican, all these different communities. And that is something that makes Kauai so unique and Hawaii so unique, that we embrace all these different cultural roots, and that people would share food and music and games and jokes and even language from their culture. And it's so amazing to see every year residents come out, people come to the exhibit and show this is what it was like, or this is what we did. And to see visitors, I get calls 2 years in advance, people booking, saying, I want to make sure that I hit Koloa Plantation Days in 2018 or 2019 or 2017. And I want to come then because it adds so much to the experience, because it's not only the resorts and the businesses and the community groups welcoming people, but the people who come out for it and the real aloha that is shared among our residents and among our volunteers and our visitors. And I think what keeps many of the volunteers going, and certainly what keeps me going, is the great people you meet, and that you're doing this side by side. So no matter what you do in your professional life, in your personal life, you get together and you're always learning. And that's why we meet every month leading up. Starting in February, there's a board meets in January, and then we do twice a month, and we get things together, but people share suggestions and talk stories so that when you attend these different events, we go attend each other's events and people help each other out. And I think that's so special here on Kauai, and that's why I'm like, we have to keep it going, and it's open. So every year we get a few new events and we seek new volunteers. And so if you're like, this is cool, this is something I want to be a part of, come check us out. Visit our website, talk to us at the events, because we're always looking. Because as you know, 32 years people have been involved. And one of the things that I think makes Phyllis Kunimura so special is that she thinks ahead. So while we're commemorating our roots in the past, she's also thinking of, how are the kids interacting today? How do we keep it real and alive? And how do we get young people involved so that the festival continues and goes on as a source of local pride? So, that I really think that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to honor Phyllis this year while she's here and still active after all this time, to say, you can do it, get involved and share with us.
So, you're probably wondering, what's up with Phyllis Kunimura? Don't go away. She will be the Grand Marshal. We'll speak to Melissa McFerrin as she explains this wonderful honor for our beautiful people of our Garden Island of Kauai.
The King Advantage is online at kingautocenter.com, and it's on the open road.
It's around the bend.
It's at the mall.
It's right on course.
It's bumper to bumper when I need it most.
Express service lanes for oil change and appointments overnight with courtesy vehicles when needed.
And it's beached, bold, and beautiful.
At King Auto The King Advantage, you can count on it.
We're lifetime friends. Aloha Kauai, and welcome to the beautiful Courtyard by Marriott Kauai at Coconut Beach here on the fabulous Royal Coconut Coastline. I'm Jay Yoon, inviting you to enjoy our daily menu offerings in our Voyager Lanai restaurant.
Aloha, I'm Barbara Guzman. I'd like to invite you to our breakfast buffet daily from 6:30 until 11 a.m.
And don't forget to join us to experience our nightly dinner menu in our Voyager Lanai restaurant.
On Friday evenings, join us for a famous Flying Lobster buffet from 5:30 until 9 p.m.
And here to provide more information on our fabulous Friday evening Flying Lobster buffet is our executive chef, Lucas Sauter.
Thank you, ladies. I'm Executive Chef Lucas Sauter, and I want to talk about the Flying Lobster buffet. We'd like to start you off with the North Atlantic 6-ounce lobster tail. Also, we have Alaskan king crab legs, slow roasted prime rib, Mongolian chicken, koloa pork, ahi poke, and much, much more. Please join our friendly and knowledgeable staff every Friday evening from 5:30 to 9. For reservations, call 822-3455. Again, that's 822-3455. We'll see you there.
Welcome back, Kauai. Yes, indeed, our Grand Marshal for this year's parade will be Phyllis Kunimura. How deserving is that? 32 years ago, along with her late husband, Mr. Tony T. Kunimura, late mayor, and many of the organizers, some of the organizers are still with us, actually was the brain trust of the celebration of the Koloa Plantation Days celebration that was 32 years ago. Nothing like we have it now. Here's a very dear friend as we honor Phyllis Kunimura, Melissa McFerrin.
Oh, it's a long time in coming, but it was actually Cheryl Shintani, Errol's co-chair, said, this is many cultures, one community. And when Phyllis was a teacher at Koloa School, she educated so many children from so many different cultures and really is making sharing and keeping our roots alive part of our culture. And she should be honored this year. So we were very happy she said yes. And so you can see Phyllis will be waving in the car. But really, the many cultures, one community, we're looking forward to everyone getting out there and sharing their heritage throughout this series of events.
It's so funny because we can hear Auntie Phyllis speaking as an educator, a lifelong educator, about the importance of history and communication and sharing the stories, because these are the true stories that we have to perpetuate. But interestingly speaking, young then Aro Kaneshiro explained his first time he met Mrs. Kunimura was as a kindergarten teacher, and we kind of joked, and I said, what? So she looked exactly the same as a kindergarten teacher way back then to now. And she said, oh yeah, Auntie Phyllis look exactly the same. And you do, all the time I see you, what do I say? You look exactly.
I say the same. I love that comment, of course. But I think it's working with young children, and it's always having a positive outlook. I think that's so important for everyone, to have a reason to get up every morning, and what better place to do it than in Paradise in Kauai.
Is this going to be crazy for you? Because I'm getting teary-eyed. I mean, what's that going to be like when Phyllis Kunimura comes rolling down, I guess in a convertible? Then you got to practice your elbow, wrist. You got to wave to the people. But how insane is that going to be when, you know, Tony T. Kunimura, your late husband, and the organizers way back then, many of whom are still with us. But can you explain to us perhaps, what do you be thinking? What do you be feeling? What's the vibe? Do you know? Do you know how you're going to act?
I really don't know, but it gives me memories of the very first time I was in that parade. And that was with Tony, and it was in one of those carriages, the carriages of the Westin Kauai Hotel. And we had the horses and everything. That was in the parade, and so that was my first time in the Koloa Plantation Days parade, being just part of one of the organizers and being the organizer. But now to have people, being the Grand Marshal is different. It's a lot different participating than sitting in a convertible. But I mean, that's what we did a lot with Tony. I mean, when Tony was mayor, we were in many, many parades, and you do the waving, and and it's a wonderful feeling because everybody at a parade feels happy. It's a happy time.
So our big suggestion is, when you're the Grand Marshal, think about sharing and spreading the aloha, because everybody knows on parade day you're walking sometimes nervously back and forth. So no worry.
So I don't have to worry this year.
Everything is going to be under control. So just do the elbow.
I don't have to meet with you at the beginning and talk about Koloa Plantation Days.
That's when I found out. I said, oh no, that's because you always eloquently. So I'm going to do my best to articulate as we always do, and then I'm going to make sure we all have a big round of applause. If you just joined us, we are here with our very, very wonderful coordinator, Melissa McFerrin. Again, thank you. And we are with really one of the brain trusts of the beginning, Phyllis Kunimura. This year, what an honor, and I can't wait till the media comes out to say, because your friends, your neighbors, the former administration, most importantly, the students, the adults, the grandkids. I mean, you've spanned, I don't want to say generations, but generations, because now even the kids' school people that are graduates of kids' school, they got their kids that go to kids' school, that their kids went to kids' school. This is going to be a pretty cool parade. And, just a couple of quick highlights, like some of the things, if people just joined us, just remind us of some of the bigger highlights that you want to mention throughout this duration.
Sure. Koloa Plantation Days this year is taking place July 21st to 30th. So it is 10 days of over 30 events. There's all different types of events for the family. Many of us are known for the Parade and Park event, which is the final weekend. It's always the last Saturday in July. People call me, they want to book it 2 years later. They say, okay, it's always the last Saturday in July is the Parade and Park event. But we also do 10 days of events. The first weekend, we're going to have the rodeo weekend, and Jimmy, Miranda, and Janine have been working very hard to create an exciting rodeo weekend, Bull Bash on Friday, 2 days of rodeo action. And then our opening event for the festival, the Ho'olaulea, will take place at the Poipu Beach Athletic Club. And this year, in conjunction with the Poipu Beach Resort Association, which has always been a tremendous support to the festival, and we are very excited to announce our headliner for the Ho'olaulea is going to be Makana. and he's bringing in some of musicians, really esteemed musicians, to play with him. And we're going to have cruise control. We're going to have free got games for all the kids. So it's a very family-oriented event. Some of Kauai's best food trucks. So that's going to take place the first Saturday. And of course, we have 6 other events that weekend from different hosts, from the Lauai Beach Resort and the mini golf for the kids. The Hapa Trail Walk this year is honoring Louis Abrams, who passed this past year, and he was so active in Koloa. And wonderful activities. You can find activities, cultural activities, activities for kids, because for those of you, I have a 6-year-old, so I appreciate things you can bring the kids to, as well as food and shopping events, music events. The live music is incredible. Almost every other day there's another wonderful live music event, and you can find out all 30 events on our website, koloaplantationdays.com. We also have a brochure with a map and everything identified, all the different activities, that's distributed throughout the visitor industry, but also you can find it at the library, at Sueoka's, any of the event hosts. And we'll be Facebooking. We've gone modern, so we're doing Facebook, Instagram, however we can communicate about the events. But we really encourage people to take the time to attend events that they may not have attended before. Reverend Alan Akana does a wonderful talk story on Monday afternoon with the Smith Memorial Parsonage, and now he's got all these beautiful watercolors, and he shares history of the area. And you know, so not all the events are large. Some of them are these intimate talk stories where you can really learn something about our community, visit with people. Garden Island Federal Community Credit Union and the Koloa Credit Koloa branch is hosting one this year. They're doing a talk story about how this all happened during the plantation. That's a new event this year. Another new event this year, Koloa Rum, is teaming with Imu Bar and Restaurant and doing a Koloa Rum Plantation Heritage Dinner, where they have the different rums and they talk about the heritage of the different plantation foods. And that is a paid event with reservation, just simply because the chef has to organize it. But it's wonderful to see new events every year. We have a lot of repeat favorites. NTBG is coming back this year and doing their tour of the McBride Garden. Of course, Grove Farm. You can see the mill. You drive by on the bypass road and go talk story with Earl Smith, and they'll take you up to Wilcox Tunnel. So you get to meet people. You get to see areas that you might not always get to discover. And of course, we've got the different music. Old Koloa Town is doing their mixed plate, and they're going to have Violet Asuncion and Falling Down Romance. And then, of course, on Friday, we've got our Flavors of Kukui'ula, where Walirita y los Kawaianos is going to come out and do kachi kachi. Mm-hmm. So the dance community is excited about that, but it's also wonderful to share with our visitors. So throughout the week, whatever time you have, morning, noon, and night for those 10 days, check out our schedule and bring your family, because most events are inexpensive or free, and you get to hang out with some great people in the community.
And not only that, but learn great stories.
I mean, we talk so often about this being the rainbow people, the beautiful people, the mix. When I came here over 60 years ago, it wasn't as mixed, so that when I married Tony, who is Japanese and I'm Haole, we used to walk down the street of Waikiki with little Patty, and people would look at us, and I thought, oh, they're looking because she's such an adorable looking child. Didn't dawn on me they were looking at us because we're a mixed couple. But now when you look this many years and I see my children at school, there is so much mixture that now we're becoming more one than to be each in our own nationality.
But first of all, this world is, we don't want to talk the political side, but number two, we at Koloa Plantation Days as a community can make it happen together as one. And lastly, unbeknownst to you, when you was walking the streets with little Patty back then, cute Hapahaole daughter, they wasn't looking at you folks like, oh my goodness. They was thinking, oh, that brother went score.
there was a different attitude about it. There definitely was. And that is something that has just continually grown. It's just accepted. This is who we are.
That's what it's all about. Well, I just want to say, ladies, Melissa McFerrin, Auntie Phyllis Kurimura, thank you all in advance. Just last thoughts, if you want to share your aloha and welcome everybody to participate, maybe at another website and what have you. We'll just give a little bit of a wrap up at this time.
Sure. I just want to give a big mahalo to all the individuals, families, businesses, and organizations that support us each year. It couldn't happen without the tremendous support, and we in turn try to support all the different groups that put on events so that everyone can find out about what's happening and get out there, as well as our historic groups. Kauai Historical Society is involved, Grove Farm Homestead Museum, so to cultivate that interest in history, and we hope you will discover it year-round. So we want to thank the Hawaii Tourism Authority. We'd like to thank Koloa Rum, Grove Farm, Alexander and Baldwin, Kukui'ula, Hawaii Dairy Farms, the Poipu Beach Resort Association, Garden Island Community Federal Credit Union, Matson, Ulupono Initiative, and also the families of Peter Baldwin and Celie Williams, Kendall Watts in memory of Robert T. Watts Sr. and Marjorie Waterhouse Watts, and the Smith Waterhouse family of Koloa for contributing to the festival directly this year. We have many in-kind sponsors. We have so many individuals that do so much, people who contribute silent auction items, who give of their time, who give of their venues. And of course, the county of Kauai, without whom we couldn't close the roads and utilize the park. And all of you that give so much of your time, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. We'll come out and ask you to join us and do more next year. But for now, enjoy the festival. Come join us July 21 to 30 this year.
Auntie Phyllis?
Yeah, thank you so much. And just to encourage everybody to come out. If you're a regular, come on out. And if you've never been here and you're a first timer, this is the time to come. So enjoy.
And I hope people can, if they have somebody doesn't have transportation, I hope people can carpool in because some of the kupuna can't drive. So if they can be a good neighbor or a good nephew or a good friend, pick up the kupuna from the west side, from the north shore, let them enjoy this event because it's great lifetime memories. And I will probably say I'm going to shed more than a tear or two. I'm so all choked up when you come cruising around because it's going to be a true blessed honor to have you as our Grand Marshal.
Thank you so much, Dickie. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Okay, so we're going to have to take a short break. We'll see you folks. Koloa Plantation Days, long celebration. Vala'au. We'll be right back.
So the guys are over for the big game last week. When wouldn't you know it, the power goes out again. I went to see if the neighbor's power was out when we all heard. That's when I found out that Bill has battery backup from the House of the Sun, Haleakala. He didn't even know the power was out. His system kept running uninterrupted. Haleakala Solar not only brings the power of the sun, but also keeps it going with battery backup. Still strong for more than 35 years.
Aloha, I'm Barbara Bennett, owner and publisher of the Islands Monthly Community Magazine for Kauai. Available at newsstands, mailed to you by request, or at the Honolulu and Lihue airports. I invite you to join our local residents and read our stories. All local, all community, all Kauai. Read For Kauai magazine on our website, forkauaionline.com, with more feature stories, videos, daily calendar, and local news that will excite and interest you. Visit us daily, weekly on the web, and monthly in print. Mahalo and aloha.
Hey, welcome back, Kauai. As we all know, this entire week as we speak is the Koloa Plantation Day celebration. Please remember the Granddaddy Doozy, or the big event, is going to be on Saturday. Now on Saturday, Maluhia Road and the surrounding roads will be closed to traffic at 9 a.m. Parade is promptly at 10 a.m. So make sure Omau Road, of course, you can go Koloa Road itself, but remember, if you need to get out of Poipu, you got to get out of there by 9 o'clock a.m. And I also do want to let everybody know that Annie Knutson Park will open up at 9. Usually they open up after the parade, but you have an hour to shop. There's about 60 or so vendors. So remember, get there early and you can walk around and you can shop around at our craft fair itself. Here to tell us about the parade and what we need to know, the who, what, when, where, and hows, is the coordinator of the parade, Mr. Aro Kaneshiro.
Yeah, comes around every year. The theme this year is Many Cultures, One Community. I think it's a great theme for Koloa, being that it was a melting pot with the plantation. And, to this day, it's still a melting pot. I grew up kind of outside of the plantation era, but, my classes were mixed. We had all kinds of nationalities in our class. It's still a melting pot. And, in the end, we are one community. Everybody should be proud of Koloa, where they came from, and, really work together to make Koloa better.
You know what was really funny when you mentioned that? Obviously, I'm a lot older than you are, but I remember even our neighbors, you have your Filipino neighbors, or you have your Japanese neighbors, or, the Howling neighbors or the Hawaiian neighbors and stuff like that. But really, nobody ever thought about anybody being different or anybody more superior than the other. I mean, everybody was just, as growing up as kids, everybody was kids growing up with one another. It's crazy.
Yeah, we all grew up together. We got along together. We teased each other equally among everybody. It was fun. It's a good time to grow up with a lot of different nationalities, a lot of different people. And you learn to get along with everybody.
And everybody took cracks, but I don't really consider that bullying. It was just more like you would tease somebody, the other person would tease you, and then the next day, the same gig goes on again and again and again, but good brothers and good sisters to the end.
Yeah, ultimately it's playful teasing. I think it makes friends stronger, eventually through time. I have a lot of friends from elementary school I'm still real good friends with, and we've teased each other, we've played sports together, we went to high school together, and ultimately when the word Koloa comes up, I see a lot of pride in everybody, just being proud of where they came from.
When the sesquicentennial happened, I believe it was back in the year 1985, I once asked you if you were even born, but I understand you were 4 years old. But you know what? George Ariyoshi, along with the late Mayor Tony T. Kunimura, your father's very dear friend, when they were coming around to the parade itself, George Ariyoshi couldn't believe what he's seen. When they came for the 25th anniversary, George and Joyce, they couldn't believe that 25 years later, this became more than a one-week event itself. But they also did say that this was one of the best parades, not just obviously on Kauai, but statewide.
Well, I'm honored that he would say it's one of the best parades. Yeah, this is the 32nd year. And again, I tell everybody, the parade would not be possible if the community wasn't willing to donate their time, donate their money to put on a good parade, and represent themselves or their company. Without that, we wouldn't even have a parade. I cannot force people to be in the parade, but, I'm fortunate that there's a lot of community groups that want to be involved, and they're here, and they come out with great parade themes. They try to fit the theme. They want to win the competition of, we have judges along the way, they judge them, and that really makes the parade.
And Aro Kaneshiro, I just want to remind the viewing audience that you are the chairman of this parade. This parade doesn't happen by magic, and the thing about it is with the parade, it's an insane amount of people that want to participate. I mean, it's crazy. And by the way, not to your delight, but the participants sometimes decide that they want to be in the parade Friday night, or in many cases, not surprisingly, even upwards to Saturday morning. So hard for keep one program going because there's always a lot of additions, much more than subtractions.
Oh yeah, I'm always up to like 4 in the morning trying to finalize the roster, where the lineup is. Don't put noisy groups by horses. But yeah, if anybody's interested in being in the parade, I encourage them to fill the application out, go to the Koloa Plantation Days website. There's an online application, fill it out as soon as possible. Sooner the better.
You know what makes this parade incredible, in my opinion? The streets lined up. It's way too short but sweet parade. But when everything is all said and done, the participants, the parade is technically over, but the celebration of the party just began right here at the Annie Knutson Park.
Yeah, it's a great parade. Everybody comes out. I see the same people at the same areas every year. And then, of course, we have a great event at the park. The park has entertainment. I think this year they're going to have the Bradas. They're going to have Touch of Gold. And the closer is Darren Benitez. So it's a great show. There's lots of good food. Auntie Paulette Grace guys always make sure there's good food there. So, and it's fun. It's fun for everybody.
So we're going to end it with a bang, kachi music, makawao kind style with Darren Benitez.
Oh yeah, Darren Benitez. He can end it really well. So
we talk a little bit about the parade. This year, and we need to talk about her. This year's Grand Marshal is Phyllis Kunimura. What do you remember about Phyllis Kunimura?
My first memory of Phyllis Kunimura is probably being the wife of Uncle Tony Kunimura when my dad was helping them. My second memory, she was actually my kindergarten teacher when I was 5 years old. So, when you think of the team, many cultures, one community, I think she embodies that. She has raised or taught a whole bunch of kids for many years that have grown up in this community and, are still proud to be a part of the community. And, kindergarten is a very critical time in everybody's life. And, it's not every day where you get a kindergarten teacher that you'll still see around in the community and she's going to ask you, so how are you doing? What are you doing? And you better be ready to say, yeah, I'm doing good. Make her feel proud that, she taught you. She was one of the first teachers you had in your entire life.
Well, and more importantly, you did yourself well. I do want to say that Auntie Phyllis in our community will say Arakan and Shiro, you did yourself well. First off, did you go to Koloa Elementary School?
Yes, Koloa Elementary. My dad went to Koloa Elementary, my grandpa went to Koloa Elementary, and my grandma went to Koloa Elementary.
So hence, Koloa Plantation Days Parade is actually something true and dear to yourself. And the interesting thing, when we talk about Auntie Phyllis, and you remember her as a kindergarten teacher, I always tell Auntie Phyllis, every time I see her, she looks exactly the same. Huh?
Yeah, she does. I don't think she's changed since when she taught me, and it's amazing. She doesn't age at all.
So you were technically 4 years young when the parade happened. You remember how old you was perhaps when you actually maybe have seen your first parade? Is that too much of a thought way thereafter?
I can't remember exactly, but I do remember coming to the parade and watching, the horse units, and you get excited when you're a younger kid and you actually see people that in the parade. It's kind of like, hey, they're almost like a movie star there in this parade with video cameras along the way. So, I can't remember the first one, but I was pretty young.
And as the coordinator of the event, what a lot of people don't realize, they think, okay, Arrow knows the lineup and everything else, but you guys are so busy doing everything else and making sure everything else is lined up after everything is all said and done. And when you actually see the parade, sometimes you might think like, wow, I don't remember this, I don't remember that, because a lot of people even ask Bruce and I, oh, can we get a video? Can we get a video? Because the spectators has the best seat in the house, and unfortunately, the participants don't get to see the whole parade. Evidenced by once they get to the Eddie Knudsen Park, they hit it back to the road so they can check out the rest of the parade participants.
Yeah, and in all honesty, there's a lot of times I don't even get to see the parade. I get to see the very start. I see them just start off, make sure everybody's spacing's okay, and I don't get to see what goes on over here. And I remember one year when Auntie Stella and I were doing the parade, she had me drive a group, and we planned the whole thing, got the lineup ready. You're kind of excited, you kind of know what these guys are going to be doing in the parade, and then I drove and I didn't know what the parade looked like at all.
Yeah, and that's crazy. But most importantly, I just do want to thank you so very much for bringing up and remembering Auntie Stella Burgess. I understand Auntie Stella really was an influence, and she kind of passed the torch and said, hey, Arrow, hang out with me for a couple years. Let's go cruise. Let's go check this thing out, because one day you're going to get handed off, and you got handed off. But what a better, no better mentor and patience and teacher. And as you've said for many, many years, it's not when Auntie Stella said something, you don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get it done, Auntie.
Yeah, no, I was very fortunate to have her in my life. She really groomed me for this position. That's the type of person she was. She'll tell you, hey, you're gonna do this, and whether you want to or not, you say, yes, I will, Auntie Stella. But she also sets you up for success. She groomed you into the position. She made sure you know what needed to get done, and she left a legacy. But again, Auntie Stella did that for me. We're always looking for volunteers, for the parade, for any activity. So,
if you just joined us, first of all, let's start off with the logistics: the date, the time, the important things, where to park, what not to do, and also closure Malahio Road and every other information we need to know.
Yeah, so the parade is on Saturday, July 29th. It's the roads close at 9 o'clock, so everybody be here before then. Parking is up above the park, and there's going to be a shuttle going to Koloa School until 9 o'clock, probably from 7 until 9 o'clock. The parade starts at 10, and it'll probably be done around 11:30. So parking will be above the park. There's 2 fields up there. People can park up there and walk down. I encourage people to walk further down to Koloa School if they want to. I know the attendance at the parade is little speckled out there, but as you get towards this area, it's very crowded. So if anybody wants good seats with a little more room for their elbows, the area to be is a little closer towards Koloa School. But the roads close at 9. Parking is up above the park.
So we just want to let you folks know, if you're a part of the visitor industry or you're just our local resident itself, more importantly, the bypass road, we're basically going to be using Omao Road. And we just want to encourage, that's really the only way out unless you're heading west out toward the Lawai, Kalahare area. But remember, when you go up Lawai Road, drive the speed limit, because there's a lot of kids playing around, but a lot of people tend to think that they're in a rush and they want to drive fast. And you, of course, know Omao Road very well.
Oh yeah, Omao Road's a little bumpy. Or if you're gonna go up Koloa Road, yeah, just please drive slowly. It's not a wide road. Lots of people, and there's gonna end up being a lot of traffic going through it too, with traffic being diverted. But you can also still come up the bypass road and go through Maluhia. You're just not gonna be able to go through this center town area.
Okay, great. So we just want to say aloha to everybody. Arrow Kaneshiro, take this opportunity to let everybody know, and you earlier talked about volunteering. I mean, like, you started at a young age, and how would you encourage people not just to attend the parade, but those that might be out there that may want to volunteer and make their start participating in the community as a volunteer?
Yeah, if anybody's looking for opportunities to give back to the community, to give back to Koloa, feel free to let us know that you're interested in volunteering. We don't get paid. You do this out of love. It's a lot of time and effort, but it's well worth it when you get to see how happy people are. You get to communicate with everybody. I get to see the same people every year. There's just a lot that goes into the parade, and I gotta thank a lot of people. There's a lot to just make the parade successful. We have prior to the parade, we have a big cleanup here at the Tunnel Trees, and Nokaoi comes out, and they bring out probably about 30 of their employees that they pay to go and clean the tree tunnel. You have a few of the hotels that come out, and there's going back to the theme, many cultures, one community. I think if you think about this one community, there is so much effort and people that volunteer to make this whole week successful. It's unbelievable. I could probably take 30 minutes thanking everybody that has a part in making this whole event successful. And it's really something to see everybody come together. And I think that's what the whole team is kind of focused around. Everybody coming together and then working for the better good of everything.
Thank you, Aaron. Don't forget now, the Maluhia Road will be closing at 9 a.m. So use your alternate routes, plan ahead, but more importantly, remember the old days, park your car, and remember, the Annie Knutson Park is actually going to open up at 9 o'clock. Remember, we have about 60 crafters or vendors, and we got our food vendors and what have you. Well, guess what? It's going to open before the parade even starts. So you get 1 hour, a prelude of early shopping. That's right. Tell your friends, get there early and walk around, meander, because we have crafters, we have vendors, we have food, and we have everything that you want to know about the Koloa Plantation Day celebration. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll be speaking with our coordinator, Melissa McFerrin, and of course, our very dear friend, one of the founders, Auntie Phyllis Kunimura.
Aloha Kauai. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Vala'au with Dickie Chang. I'm Katie Beer, an advisory board member for the Salvation Army, and I'd like to invite you to join us in celebration of 120 years of the Salvation Army doing the most good in Kauai. In partnership with the American Culinary Federation Kauai chapter, we will be at the Kauai Marriott Resort in their open-air beautiful courtyard. We will be featuring chefs from the American Culinary Federation. From the Kauai Marriott Resort, we have Chef Guy Higa and Johnny Montemayor. From the Hukilau Lanai, Ron Miller. From the Kauai Community College Culinary Club, Steve Nakata. Gavin Onishi from Contemporary Flavors Catering. Also, coming all the way from Maui, we have Thailand Pang of Ko Restaurant in the Fairmount Kealani. We have Jason Sessions from the Westin Princeville Ocean Resort Villas, Ben Takahashi from the club at Kukui'ula, and Michael Young from the Sheraton Kauai Resort. All of these chefs from the American Culinary Federation will be making fabulous food that will be served at tasting stations around the courtyard. The wonderful live entertainment for the evening will feature Nahoku Hanuhanu Award winner Blaine Asing, this year's most promising young artist. And he will be joining legendary Brother Noland, everyone's favorite. We'll also enjoy the wonderful music stylings of the very, very talented Ben Vegas and Kauai's very own Mila Gibson. So please join us for this wonderful first-time event supporting the Salvation Army, doing the most good in Kauai for the last 120 years. For more information, please call Sonia Tapeno at 652-2499. That number is 652-2499, or Joyce Vidina at 634-6452. 634-6452. Or to purchase tickets online, go to hawaii.salvationarmy.org and click on the events menu. Please join us for this wonderful event. The Salvation Army is celebrating 120 years of doing the most good in Kauai. Friday, August 11th from 5 to 8:30 p.m. at the Kauai Marriott Resort. See you there!
At Island Air, we make it easy and affordable for families to stay connected with our Kupuna and Keiki Saver Fares. If you're over 62 or 12 or younger, you can fly between Oahu, Maui, and Kauai for only $65 one way or $75 one way to and from Kona. Go to islandair.com for details about this and our many other travel offerings. Kupuna and Keiki Saver Fares. One more way to fly the Island Way with Island Air.
Feel the beauty of this sign down from the beaches to the highest mountain. Different people living as one in harmony under the sun on the island in the middle of the sea.
Puakea Golf Course. Call for your tee times today.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Vala'au. As always, we'd like to sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching Vala'au and making us a part of your weekend and week out festivities here in our Garden Island, Kauai. Again and again and again and again, if you can kokua, please help to kokua the sponsors. Obviously, it is the sponsors that make Vala'au possible week in and week out. As we mentioned a little earlier, remember, the Koloa Plantation Day celebration and the parade is happening as we speak. It's going to go all the way up until this coming Sunday. Further information, you can give me a call at 635-8800. Again, that number is 635-8800. We'll see you at the Koloa Plantation Day celebration. It is time for us to heli on. As always, let's all continue to take care of our families, our friends, the neighbors, the Malahini and the Aina. And we'll check you out next week. Only see you at the parade on Vala'au.
Vala'au.